What's up and good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to another video. We are knocking out a lot of ranch projects in the last couple of videos, so hopefully you guys aren't getting bored of them yet, but we've got some bigger ones coming up. One thing I wanted to do is, as you guys can see, we've cleaned out all of these planter beds. So obviously we had the grass, we had the concrete, we had these planters that were in between. They weren't really planted with much. We got a couple plants here, more so down over there where Abel's working, but it was gravel in all the planters, right? Like decorative gravel. And unfortunately, the crabgrass out here just runs rampant. So as you can see, that's all gravel below there. That's not the grass continuing. You can see the little separating edging strip right there that goes around. The crabgrass just eventually grows inside the gravel, and then you can't weed whack the gravel because what, you're gonna throw gravel at all of the glass on the back of the house here, which there is a ton of, and it just becomes miserable to try to like clean this out. I mean, I have to pay the guys regularly to come out here and basically do it by hand, and then 1 or 2 rainstorms later, it all just grows back. So it's just been like this endless, I guess, money pit at this point of trying to maintain. And honestly, it never was quite the look that I was going for out here. So we've cleaned it all out, and then we're gonna put weed barrier down, which only does so much over here. You can see on this side, a lot of the water kind of leaches this way. You can see it's super wet right here from the grass. It's just a gentle slope, and it all kind of rolls underneath the grass. We put this drain in about a year or 2 after living here because this whole area would flood all the way up on the concrete, dang near all the way to the house. That drain has been a massive help. We should probably lower it a little bit now, but this isn't like the final form that the backyard's gonna be, but this is hopefully gonna be a much easier maintenance form. Is we're going to put, again, the weed barrier down, and then we're gonna just put a nice compacted DG bed. We have a infinite DG on site here on my property, so we'll dig a bunch up, we'll come over here, we'll put it in all of these planters, we'll compact it, and then, you know, as weeds grow or whatever, it's much easier to take out of the DG than it is to take out of all of the gravel and stuff that you can see here where it's all mixed in. I would put like a bigger river rock or something like that, because to me that looks better. However, we did that at the guest house with a bunch of weed barrier, and the crabgrass just grew through it, and now with the river rock, it's even harder to clean out than it is with the gravel. So right now Abel is pulling out all of the gravel, which again comes with all of this horrible crabgrass and the roots that come off of crabgrass. This stuff is just miserable. He's cleaned up all of my little, whatever the heck these stupid things are called, these pokey little boogers. They look cool. They're great out here because they're drought tolerant, but they are very, very pokey. So all of those are nice and cleaned up. So he's just working through getting all of the old gravel and stuff pulled out so we can bring in our new DG. Over here, you can see these things grow like crazy. So they've kind of grown out this way. And so I want to extend kind of the planter bed there. So I've got it kind of marked out. I've got another stick here of the landscape edging. So we're going to kind of scab this in and adjust that a little bit. But oh, I almost just hit my head on that thing. I've hit my head on that stupid bird feeder like 800 times. That's the first time I've actually dodged it. Now in the front of the house over here, we've got Rhino. We've been working on getting the mower, the Toro mower, working properly. Oh, one of the other things we're gonna do, so we're gonna be doing a lot of concrete pours out here, or well, we're gonna be pouring a lot of concrete out here. So as we were cleaning out this planter bed right here, I decided we need to make this walkway that I've been kind of envisioning. It's gonna go all the way to the corner of the shed right there. And then this little wedge right here will just be like a little planter or something. But we'll have a nice walkway from here all the way up to here. But in the meantime, again, we are working on the Toro lawnmower over here. So my neighbor suggested that we swap it out to 2 belts instead of using one big one, because the pulleys are just a hair out of alignment, but it's not really easy to get them aligned the way that it was built. There's just not really any adjustments in it.
I don't think it matters what we do with this. That don't move.
No, we're locked in. We just gotta... Yeah, that's not changing. You want that straight. So the fun thing about this setup is to change the belts, you basically got to disassemble the entire thing, pull the motor, slide the motor back, disassemble this carrier bearing, disassemble the shaft that goes up there to the hydraulic pump. Kind of a pain in the butt, and then you don't know till you bolt it all back together if it is gonna work or not. So we now have 2 individual belts instead of the one wider one that was kind of riding really high up on these pulleys and was walking itself off. Hopefully the 2 individuals stay on, otherwise it's back to the drawing board. Alrighty guys, here goes nothing. New belt is on. We're gonna fire this thing up. We're gonna engage the belt, which is gonna then spin the shaft that spins the old blades down there, and it's either gonna get really sketchy or it might work. Hopefully the latter. Hopefully it works. All right, well, as soon as we disengaged it, the belts flew off. But it could be, I mean, the old ones had a guide roller. We never put the guide roller, or we never fabbed up a guide roller for this.
Yeah, see, because they're way too loose, right?
Now, obviously, the most important thing is that this thing cuts without the belt slipping off. If the belt slips off when you disengage the mower blades, it's going to be really annoying. However, it's not the end of the world. At least it's still functional. It's just a little bit of a headache versus before. As soon as you actually mowed into anything that put resistance on the blades, the belt would slip off. So we got it now. Go see if that's going to happen, which unfortunately / fortunately, nothing out here is growing too big. I'm going to go try to find some stuff that's a little thicker and see what happens when these blades hit a little tension. We're going to go hit this stuff. It's pretty light and pretty dry, but I'm sure we'll hit some squirrel mounds at some point that'll test this thing. Let's lower our blade, gauge our belt. Well, we were doing good. We hit a mound of dirt, like a pretty hefty mound of dirt, and then we lost the belt. Not exactly a successful test, but maybe in around the house and on nicely graded stuff. And honestly, we could raise up the cutting height of the deck, which would make it dig less into the piles of dirt. Alrighty, y'all, so in order to put the concrete in here, we obviously have to grade this down. But to know where we're digging down, I want to measure. Again, I want to match kind of the width of this corner right here for the walkway, which is 4'9", we'll call it. So we'll just hit a couple of spots over here at 4'9", parallel off the house. 4'9". Am I making a mistake of not doing this completely solid concrete? Maybe we should just do this all concrete the full width, but I kind of like the idea of a little planter right here. Alrighty, y'all, so that'll be our new walkway. The patio is going to get extended out here. It's almost one of those things, should I cut it back here? But then it makes this weird little return, so we might as well just pour it all the way out to here. Walkway coming through, and then I think for now, we're going to pour basically this entire area right here, all the way up until this point right here. So we're basically going to pour this whole wedge shape right here in concrete. Obviously, we got to ramp up a little bit to get into this garage. There's gonna be some little weird grade changes here. At some point, this whole area is gonna be concrete. All the whole front of the house, obviously there's gonna be planters and decorative stuff. It's gonna be nice. It's not just gonna be like a parking lot. However, I do want a hefty amount of concrete in here. I don't know, I like concrete. I like to park on concrete, I like to wash vehicles on concrete. I like the fact that there's no weeds that are really gonna grow through concrete, so I don't have to maintain it like I gotta do this freaking gravel over here. So the more concrete I can have inside of the confines of this fenced in area, the happier I'm gonna be. Outside out there, I've got plenty of acreage of no concrete for when I need that mountainous feel. But inside of here, I want it to be very residential, if that makes sense. It's probably the exact opposite of what most people want, but it's what I want. Now, while Abel's doing all the hard work over there getting the planters ready, or the planter beds ready, I'm gonna come back down to my borrow pit. I have not been in this thing in a while. One of the few or only cheap things about the ranch is I've got pretty much endless gold DG, which is decomposed granite, which a lot of people pay good money for this stuff to put into their planter beds, do their walkways around their house, or like public parks will have this as like their jogging paths and all of that. This stuff definitely isn't cheap if you go to like a landscape supply place to buy it. However, as you can see from my borrow pit here, we've got an insane amount of it. I mean, there's just acres and acres of this. You dig down, shoot, probably not even that much, what, less than a foot into the dirt, and you are now into some beautiful DG that compacts. I mean, this stuff compacts so dang well. It's gonna work really good as a planter. It's awesome base material. We use it under concrete because we can compact it first before we put the concrete on top. So I brought the excavator down here. I'm gonna churn a bunch of this up, and then and then we'll use the tractor and the dump truck to move a bunch of it up to the house. And then again, we're gonna be also pouring concrete next to the carport, so we actually do need a lot of DG brought over there for some base for that. Obviously the planters are kind of priority numero uno. Let's see, is there a snake under here? No snake. Planters are priority numero uno because it's currently what we're working on. But the concrete next to the carport is gonna happen very soon as well. So let's get this churned up. I don't really know the best approach here. So this is about as steep as my Coyote tractor likes to go down, and then grab dirt and then back out without wanting to flip over. Somehow just need to like push this in and kind of fill it back in with the sides and just make it wider. I do wish, I mean, other than the fact that I have endless free DG here, I do wish that we had a better material, because this would be a sick pond. However, as you can see, the water just drains right on through. Now I hate how much you have to churn up, and then by the time you pile it up, it doesn't look like that much, but should be good for probably 3 truckloads, maybe 4, hopefully. Yeah, I don't know. And then you got to break some of it up. This top layer is really compacted, so you got to kind of churn it up, break it up. Alrighty guys, so we've got a bit of a change of plans. So yesterday I churned up all that dirt in the borrow pit, and we were going to start bringing some DG in for the planters in the back. However, we want to pour some concrete out here, and well, you're kind of at the mercy of when you can schedule it. And so we've gotten it scheduled. It is in a few days from now, but 2 of those days, 2 of those working days, I'm going to be gone and Abel's actually going to be gone. So there's going to be no work getting done. So we've got essentially 2 days to get this place ready for a decent amount of concrete. Now down by the house, it wouldn't be too bad. It's not that big of an area. But up here where I'm standing, up by the carport, this is going to be a much heftier project. So y'all remember when we built the carport, we poured concrete stem walls around, which people typically don't do for a carport. But the plan was always to like make something cool out of this. And this crappy little shade cloth that didn't survive, it was not the cool factor. That was a temporary solution. So anyways, we've got like a, I don't even know, 16-inch stem wall there, which we don't need all of that, right? We need to pour concrete probably, I don't know, probably up to about there, which if we're doing 4 inches of concrete, it means we're going to bring in about 4 inches of fill. So we got to bring this entire area up inside there, about 4 inches, which means we got to also kind of bring up some of the outside and taper it down. And then because why not? If we're already here pouring inside of there, we might as well pour this whole driveway approach down to the gravel area right here, which means if we want this full width, which there's no point in like cutting off a foot or 2, we need to bring in a bunch of dirt to kind of fill this area in. If we're looking parallel to the carport, you'll see we come down about right here. Well, if you notice, the little driveway approach to it kind of drops off. This is all just a bunch of DG that we brought in. When we did the carport, there was never really any like super thought out plan into this. It was just make it functional. But now we're going to make it nice and functional. And then we also need to do the same thing on this side. You can see how we've kind of got a big hole right here. We need to fill that in with a bunch of DG, gravel, rock, whatever. And then obviously we want to be significantly wider than the concrete. That way the concrete's not poured right up on the edge. And if that edge washes away a little bit, you're going to lose. The concrete's going to kind of want to go with it. So we got to make sure we grade this out. We compact this really good. I mean, all of that is already compacted really good. So it's just these edges that we kind of got to bring out. Then we got to get out here with our laser and we got to kind of shoot our grades, make sure everything is where we want it and copacetic. Get our form set. We got to get rebar, which we've got a bunch of rebar out here. It's a little bit rusty, but you know what? I already own it. So we're going to use it. But again, we've got 2 days to set this up from back there all the way down to, I haven't really figured it out exactly, but somewhere in here. And then pour in front of and down the side of my shed down at the house. So for now, we're going to put the planter projects on hold. We can do this after we pour the concrete, bring all the DG fillies back in, but everything's nice and cleaned up because time is ticking and we're burning a little bit of daylight. So I'm going to get on my excavator and I'm going to churn up a bunch of the stuff in front of the shed because all this dirt, gravel, all that is just super compacted. And it's not fun to dig out with a shovel without using like a roto hammer or something like that. And I don't have our medium sized one here. I only have the little one. So we're going to reach as far as we can with the excavator, churn it up, and then hog some of it out by hand. You can see the lines that we put in yesterday. So again, the walkway is going to come out to about here, and we'll kind of feather this little area right here. So it's not going to be such a sharp edge. It'll just be radiused, similar to how the little bender board is right there. Straight shot there. Paparano really thinks I should pour all the way to the shed instead of making a little planter there. I don't know. We're probably going to end up doing that. I just think it's easier to get rid of water shed it into a planter, put a little drain in the planter, versus now if we go wall-to-wall concrete, we really got to try to get the water to go out that way or try to come back this way, which I don't know if that's going to be possible depending on where the drip strip is on the shed as well as the drip strip on the house. And then coming through here, we've got a nice minefield of stuff we got to worry about. We've got a couple of electrical grounds, which are here. And then there's another one over there that we're put in. I'm not sure. I'm assuming. Let's see. It goes to this, which is actually, they just kind of go to nothing. Now that I'm looking at it, that's tied to that one. That's tied to that one. I don't really see them going to anything. Huh. That one's not even, that one's cut off. We've got an old gas line or propane line coming into the house. I'm assuming it's old. I don't think that's alive anymore. And then we've got the main gas line coming in. This one we'll have to box off. We'll put a little form around it because we don't want to block that off in case we ever got to service that. And then for now, again, we're going to pour just up to this joint, which is going to give us a pretty good amount of concrete in front of the shed, all the way back to there. I don't want to keep going because I don't know exactly what we're going to do out here. You can see some oil staining on this driveway. Like, I think once we go to pour all of this, this is going to get torn out. So it'll all be kind of cohesive as one coming up into here. And it's going to be really easy to cut it at this joint because, well, they use this nice 2x here as like a decorative feature / expansion joint. As you can see, they are everywhere out here and have held up surprisingly well. I'm assuming these have been here for 40 something years. I don't know if they've ever been replaced or not, but they've held up really well. Well, we interrupt this regularly scheduled program to got a crisis at the farm here. We've got, oh geez, now the goats are coming over. We've got a guinea hen that somehow got into the chicken coop last night, or into the whole fenced in area of the chicken coop. I don't really, I mean, maybe if it flew in right here through this tiny little breach. This entire top here is netted. So I had the door wide open. The guinea hen ran around the door like 10 times, would not go out the door. But in the meantime, a chicken got out. Chicken needs to be inside, guinea hen needs to be outside. You can see the guinea hen pacing right back there because her friend is right there on the other side, and she's like, come on, get out, you gotta get out. And then the chicken's like, I'll be your new friend. So we got a chicken outside right there who's a similar color to the guinea hen. And then I can't leave the door open because now all the goats just came over and they really want some of this chicken food here. It's a stupid game we're playing. Come on, I got work to do. Where do y'all go? You gotta go out. You can't get through the fence. I mean, clearly you can because somehow you pulled it off earlier. You gotta go. Oh, now you're mad because your chicken friend is out. Look at it. She gets real close to the door, tries to go out the panel before the door. Now, luckily, the geese have never gotten out. I've never tried to catch a goose, but I have a feeling it's not the most fun thing in the world. We are going to go try to wrangle the chicken now. All right, come on. You got to go home. No, you go home. Let's go. Come on. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. All right, I guess we got to set the camera down and we're going to catch this damn thing. Oh, cool. Or apparently we just set the camera down and she's like, you gonna catch me? I'll walk back in by myself. All right, now back to our original plan. Can't kick the damn guinea hen out. Gotta go. You can't go that way. You cannot go that way. You can go right through that open door, though. You can go right through the open door. We're just gonna dodge everything but the open door, huh? Oh my, you might just live here now. Maybe I got better luck capturing your friend and putting her in here. Oh my God, finally. He figured it out. He would literally walk right up to the door and then turn around. A little out of breath on chasing that son of a gun around. Now we can go back and do some real work. We're gonna take the dump truck down to the borrow pit because, well, again, we're gonna need a lot of this DG brought up to kind of fill in that driveway by the carport. She's still in need of a tune-up. Gotta run it with the choke crack just a little bit. We just haven't had time to get this over to my neighbors. And now we hike back to the house to get the tractor. All right, y'all, Abel's making great headway over here, and we're looking at these ground rods, and we're trying to figure out what the heck. I mean, there's 4 of them, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all daisy chained together. And the only thing I can think of, I mean, mainly because it's the only wire coming off of them that is not tying them together, is it was coming up this piece of T-bar right here. And at one point there was an electric fence that went all around the whole backyard. Because remember, this whole house was open to the animals other than the backyard to keep the donkeys and stuff from eating the grass. So the only thing I could think of was they needed some good ground for this fence to work. 4 is excessive. However, maybe they couldn't get them in because obviously a ground rod's usually like 8 feet or so. So maybe they can only get it to go so deep because the dirt out here is very hard. So they're like, screw it, let's just cut 2-foot sections and we'll just pound in a bunch of 2-foot sections. I don't know. There's nothing else I can think of as to why these are here. So we're just gonna cut them off and eliminate them. That way we don't have to worry about them. We're also gonna cut this T-bar post off because this thing is kind of stuck here. We've got the cat coming over to check out things. Yeah, you ready for some more concrete? What do you think? What do you think that is in your expertise? All right, so now we're shooting all of our elevations here because obviously we're gonna be coming from over there, which, as you can see, that elevation is about 1 inch lower where we're tying in over there. Now, when my stucco guy, who did not do a great job on this thing, put their weed screed on, and I guess this was a little oversight on my part as well, I should have said something, but they came down 2 inches with the weed screed when they should have been, yeah, I don't know, higher. Because now we're gonna come in with our concrete about here. We're gonna be above the weep screed, which is not what you want to be. However, the weep screed is down below the concrete, so it's not like it's totally gonna get in there and destroy stuff. And then you can see on this side we've got about 1.5 inches of weep screed as opposed to the 2.5 on that side, so not really consistent. But I think we are gonna opt to put a planter in over here because it's just gonna give us somewhere for the water to shed off to, as opposed to pouring a bunch of concrete that is higher than the weep screed all the way down the side of the shed. All right, y'all, now that it is rough graded, we're gonna get our form set, at least this header form right here. So since we're gonna be in line with this 2x4, we're just gonna run a string line. That way we know we are perfectly in line with it. Right there, yep, right there.
Whatever it helps. Abel could get the screws. Get the screw gun, Abel. The screws.
Problem is, the grass is gonna be real high. Check it over here.
Yeah, or otherwise, like you said, that fucking grass is gonna be.
Por eso todo de agua aquí.
Sí, está bien.
Push it
The
in.
drain está largo.
¿Sí?
Está bien.
Todo de agua aquí, mucha agua.
Yep, right there. That's it.
We want to be a 1/2 inch low there. I think that's where it has to happen. That's the best bit. Alright, so we're taking a little break from form setting. Just because I got to take the bucket off the tractor, put the forks on, and I'm being lazy right now. I mean, I'm not being lazy, but I'm trying to be efficient since the bucket's already on. I'm going to fill a load of DG in the dump truck, then go switch to the forks on the tractor because we have a lot of attachments and stuff we got to take out from underneath the carport. we churned up yesterday. Taking all this nice, beautiful DG. We're probably gonna have to churn up a good bit more to put in the planters, but again, that's kind of been sidetracked. All right, back up to the house we go. Willie was really contemplating being a bad donkey and sneaking into the fenced-in area as I opened this gate. He was standing right here, but looks like he was a good donkey today. He stayed out. What's up, baby girl? All right, we're gonna switch out to the forks. Grab my little baby sledge. This one normally stays in the tractor. We've got all of this area pretty much graded out. So you can see our nice walkway right there coming over. We had to do a lot of playing with water in here because we're really locked in by this wall, the existing foundation. We didn't really think that super far through when we set the height of the shed over there. So I think we've got it to where all the water is going to go where it needs to go and not really affect the house at all. All right, we're moving my excavator flail mower, which honestly, ever since I got the flail mower, well, honestly, ever since I got the tractor, I haven't used this. I mean, it's a really cool tool on a smaller scale, but for this much acreage, it's not ideal. Necesito maybe otro strap aquí, y maybe está bueno. So, well, ponle este aquí, ahorita. All right, y'all, so super hokey. This thing is super awkward to move, but we're gonna see. Now, I would hook it up to the back of the tractor to move it, but that's a whole freaking ordeal in itself. Well, I guess we're just gonna drag one side of her for now.
¿Este no out?
It's no out?
No. Porque aquí está ya estos.
Oh, this is okay. We made the walk all the way back down. Come on, we've got a pretty good load here. This might be one of the heavier loads we put in this thing. The horse, of course, made the journey with me. Come on, you get up there. You get up there. Come on, come on. I know you're getting old. Yeah, slow steps, slow steps. There we go. I know, nice and easy. All right, just make sure the old truck makes it, okay? On the road again. Your butt is on my shoulder, road again. Seat's big enough. You can sit down. You don't have to sit on my shoulder. It's looking like Ford City over here. We got my crew cab OBS, my 6.0, Able single cab OBS, Gasser F-150, the new Super Duty, the F600. All right, this gonna get interesting. This window so I can see. Let's see if the old girl can dump it. Oh yeah, she got the strength. She got the strength. She's a little smoky, but she got the strength. All right, so we've got our grade set inside of here. Now, in case you don't know, for garage foundations, you always want a little bit of a slope, right? You want the water to be able to get out. So we've set our grade here. We're gonna do quarter per foot, but it's kind of a lot, I feel like, in this short of a garage. So we just shrunk it a little bit. So a quarter per foot would be 4 inches lower on this side than we are on that side. We did it at 3 inches over here, which it's gonna be plenty of fall in case you ever need to hose it out or whatever. The water's gonna go on and get out. So we're gonna grade this little bit here. We actually don't need as much DG as I thought. However, we are gonna need a lot out here. So the goal with the driveway coming off of here is that it is the same width as that building, which is 24 feet. So you can see here, this line is running perfectly parallel with the building. So we should have 24 feet. There's another stake right there. I don't know if you can see it right behind my Gannon. Should be a 24-foot opening, give or take. But obviously we got to fill in all of this area right here. And then the other side is actually not that bad. We don't have too much to do. Use your imagination because we don't have the string line, but that stake right there connected to the corner of the building up there, and we just have this little bit to fill. Again, we want to go significantly past the edge of the concrete because we don't want the dirt to give way and then that becomes a weak point in the concrete and the edge wants to break off. So the further we can go out past the edge, the better. but obviously I don't want to bring over a ton of dirt. Now I think I titled this video like 2 days to get this ready, and initially it was gonna be 2 days. We're sneaking a half day in today. It's the weekend, I've been pretty busy, but we have about a half day today. So we've got Chris behind me in the old dump truck. We're gonna grab a couple more loads of dirt here. HYPERLITE is here. Obviously Abel is off for the weekend. Try to get as much done as we can now. That way our full second day, which is the day prior to the concrete pour, we have a real good shot of actually finishing and being ready. I don't know, y'all. Chris looks good in that old rig right there. A little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. What do you think about this old truck, brother?
It's a smooth ride there, brother. I think we should take this thing to the casino.
You think so? You just came from there.
What?
Round two?
Round two.
Okay.
Not bad.
I think so. So I think we're gonna have to trim that tree limb off there a little bit. That way we can get a little further over that way to the edge. Compact that edge really good. The good thing about all this TG again is it compacts super good. Put a little bit of water in it. Track the excavator over it a few times and this stuff gets like super hard. So
Let her rip.
good enough.
Put it in now.
What you doing over here, dog?
Oh, setting forms there, buddy.
Doing a great job. Looks good for my house.
Oh, okay. So we're basically going as far as 2 trucks will get us, right? We don't want to buy a 3rd truck. Out here, if you get anything less than a full truck now, it's considered a short load. You get charged extra, so there's really no point in buying anything less than full trucks. Well, by the time we calced out down there and we calced out up here, it's not going to get the entire driveway all the way down to the gravel. And again, there's no point in ordering 3 yards on another truck. We'd have to order a whole nother yard, which we don't really, or a whole nother truck, which is 9 yards. We don't really have a spot for the rest of it at the moment. So as far as the second truck's going to get us, we're not 100% sure where it's going to be on this driveway, but it's not going to be all the way down. Once we start to get closer to an idea when the trucks are being poured, we'll end up putting our header in where we know we're going to end up at, if that makes sense.
So we going with a sand finish?
We're not going sand finish.
Oh.
We're going broom finish. We're going on a budget on this one.
Okay.
You'll see when we go to put the rebar in. We're budgeting over here, honestly.
Rebar a little rusted.
Rebar's a lot rusted. I'll take you over there in a second and show you guys what we're talking about.
Action.
Dudes, I gotta pull this back apart because I had 2 guys over there just watching, and then they come check after you got it all screwed in.
Well, no, okay. You got one guy watching, the other guy was watering.
I was working.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, hey, we're union workers over here. All right.
Take a little bit of the fall out of it. It's too much
Seems
fall.
like everybody forgot my old saying.
What's your old saying?
Yeah.
What is-
Men make plans, boys make excuses.
Sounds like you're making excuses on why this is wrong. We were watching.
No.
Oh.
Look at this father and son teamwork right here.
That's where it all started.
Yep.
That's where it all started.
Right, Tiny, that's how it all started. You guys were little peons. Giggling and eating your gummies and candy.
Still do that. I still do that.
Yeah.
I couldn't break that habit of them.
Nope.
Ryan eats like a 5-year-old. Why are you pre-drilling?
So a lot of our steaks have been sun-baked out here at the ranch for a long time, so hopefully keep them from splitting.
All right, I got this whole side done right here. Is it? Oh, I got this whole side done right here. Let's see what these guys are doing.
Oh, great work, dog. Great work, buddy. Got the other side set. You guys can see.
How did I do? How did I do, by the way?
You did great, Chris. You did great.
Thank you.
Buddy. Yeah. So you can see we're a little high right here. Now we just like graded this all by eyeball. Once we get the forms in, then we'll run string lines across. We'll measure down. We'll make sure we're exactly a consistent 4 inches all the way through. But again, until we have the forms up, it's kind of hard to figure that. So we've got this side set. We didn't want, you kind of see it comes here and then it has a little break down right there. We do have fall this way, that's not level, but we didn't want too much going that way. So we have about an 1/8 inch per foot, which isn't a ton of fall, but it's enough for the water to kind of shed that way because that's the way it's going to have to go anyway. As we come down the driveway here, we've got this side set because at some point, again, we don't really know where our concrete's going to end. It depends on where that second trunk goes. But at some point, this is going to tie in to probably concrete over here, maybe up to the guest house. I'm not sure. This is like, you know, $1 million worth of concrete.
That's a lot of concrete.
That's a lot of concrete. So we're planning for the future. So this will have to tie in again from wherever that is to here. So I've kind of just eyeballed, well, I guess educatedly eyeballed where I think this should end. And then obviously on this side, you can see the driveway is kind of sloping down. So this side will be lower because all the water naturally sheds on the property that way. That'll bring us to the line perfectly.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow. Set it and forget it?
Set it and forget it.
Great job, buddy.
Thanks, man.
So what are you doing over here? Sir? Excuse me,
Putting
sir?
in stakes, dude. Putting in stakes. Setting stakes.
You're also doing a great job.
When you got a chance, come tap this down here. Give me my line. Go. One more. There it is. There it is.
There it is.
That's how you do your adjustments. Go high, bring it back to you.
Hold on. Okay, go for it.
Hey, now they're doubting me. I grade all that damn thing by myself. I don't care to tie all the friggin' steel. You guys know how it is.
Just like a one-man team, huh?
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to be like when we get older?
No. Yeah, hopefully we can retire in the next 10 years.
Actually, it's been a while since they see me on the channel.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit, guys. We've been doing...
What have you been up to, man? We haven't seen you in a while.
You know,
How's that couch?
there ain't no fucking couch, dude.
Oh, yeah. Recliner. It's a little worn out.
No.
You retired yet?
Nope. I'll retire when they put me 6 feet under.
I'd like to retire in about 10 years.
Yeah, same. Shit, I'd like to retire now.
Oh. Well, good luck, guys.
I'm getting close. I got my retirement house.
I just got my vacation pay.
You're set for life.
Got $160 from the union.
I hate to say this, buddy, but you're not very good at math, so...
That's why I use a calculator.
Okay.
5 yards over there. 4 something.
We got to choke up.
We got to do like a meet and greet. Have you signed some autographs?
That one I'll have to charge for.
Well, we'll get you on a t-shirt or something.
It's about as far as we're getting entertainment-wise today for some content.
You're going to let this guy work by himself tomorrow?
He wants to work by himself tomorrow. I don't know. I got stuff I got to do.
We're burning daylight. Daylight's almost gone, guys.
Oh, we can get some lights. We can get some lights over here.
No,
keep
we'll
on
be
going.
back at it tomorrow. We got
We
a lot
meaning
to-
you. Like
Yeah,
I got a day job.
Well, I got a job too.
Oh.
Here.
Does it
Well,
pay?
you got to help a brother out, so sometimes you got to put your job to the side. Come help a brother out.
Yep.
That's how things work. Old school.
I can't put mine to the side.
Damn. Yeah.